here, 35-0, undefeated. The #1 team taking on the Lady Lions of Penn State, the #4 seed here in the Mid-East. And the winner of this game will go on to play the winner of the K-State Old Dominion game. That coming up at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And welcome, everyone. Michelle Tafoya, Doris Burke, great to have you along with us. Everyone's been talking all season long about UConn, and is this team invincible? Can they be beat? It's a quandary for any opposing coach.
It is one thing to have 5 individually skilled basketball players, but to blend them into a unselfish, cohesive, finely tuned offensive machine is another. Whether they're running you out in transition, the ball does not hit the floor, or in their half-court set where they run the backdoor Princeton cut to precision. They are gifted at 5 spots, explosive. They're balanced. They're dangerous. Penn State has their hands full.
As you mentioned, balance and 5 players who can do it all. And for Penn State, quite a different story. Really one focal point in the offense.
Kelly Mazzanti's the nation's leading scorer. Penn State relies heavily on her ability to get shots. A lot of their offense is designed to do just that. She'll take over 20 a game. But they're in the Sweet 16 because her counterparts have learned how to play with her.
They have come to see the nation's leading scorer and the top team in the land, UConn, 35-0. The last time these teams met was at the Final Four in 2000. UConn won that contest en route to the national title. Penn State would love to knock off the #1 team in the nation today. Their opportunity is moments away.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Isuzu. Isuzu. Go further.
Back at U.S. Cellular Arena for the Mid-East Regional Semifinal Game 1, #4 Penn State versus the top seed Connecticut. Here are your starting lineups. Jess Strom running the point for Penn State. Kelly Mazzante, Wright, Barnes, and Shook. Bird, Taurasi, Williams, Cash, and Jones. And we check in now on the sidelines with Beth Mullins. Beth?
Well, Michelle, the debate's been raging all year. Is this the best team ever assembled? Well, even Husky fans are a bit divided. Is this club better, or is the '95 unbeaten national champs? Well, obviously, this year's group still has some work to do. They don't have the ring yet, but what they do have is unquestioned dominance. 35-0, beating teams by more than 37 points per game. They lead the country in over 7 statistical categories, including scoring margin, defense, offense, and perhaps most important for this club, they're about to set a new standard in NCAA history for most assists in a single season. 2/3 of their baskets they have made this year have been assisted. A tribute to how well they play together and how much they like playing with one another. Michelle?
Exactly what Doris, you talked about in the open. Their great passing ability. They won the tip there, but then immediately turned it over to Penn State. So the Nittany Lions open up with control of the basketball.
Wow, fascinating matchup. You got Diana Taurasi, who came in not heralded as a defensive player, checking Mazzanti to start the game.
Taurasi, the no-look, and right away, this is what you don't want to see if you're Weenie Portland. Easy basket by Asia Jones.
Well, there have been teams that have dropped off Asia, and she's made them pay. Remember, she was the MVP of the Big East tournament. The kid can score. She's polished offensively.
And Mazzanti can score as well, but she misses her first bucket. Gino Auriemma, in his 17th season, 4-time National Coach of the Year, 5-time Big East Coach of the Year, and a pretty nice record here in the Sweet 16.
Penn State opens man-to-man. Both teams going player to player to start this basketball game.
Asia Jones, the look inside to Taurasi. Spin move from the baseline. Jones, the rebound. Putback doesn't fall. And away comes Jacqueline Shook with the rebound for Penn State.
They're going to look, though. Connecticut will crash the boards hard. They're plus 16. That's a double dribble. Yes, Mr. Salerno.
Not only Mr. Salerno, but Swin Cash was calling it, too. Weenie Portland in her 22nd year at the helm of the Lady Lions.
Broke through, got to the Final Four for the first time in 2000 and lost to who? In this Connecticut basketball team.
She and Gino have been trading barbs in the papers lately about who will schedule who at whose building. And not a lot of love lost between these two teams, to be quite frank. Taurasi, no good, gets her own rebound.
It takes discipline to box out, and you got to box to 15 or 16 with Connecticut because they will crash from the wings, so you got to go find them and move your feet, keep your body on.
Jess Strom, a freshman, running the point for Penn State. Kelly Mazzanti puts it on the floor. almost loses it. No jump ball called there. Shook worked at it. And first basket for Penn State goes to Strom.
Well, you love her attitude. This is a tough-minded little freshman who just does not mind coming at you. A capable three-point shooter. Bird fell down.
Tamika Williams, the nice move in the low post, and has it blocked by Shook. Back comes Strom, all 5'7" of her, working on Taurasi, taking it to the hoop. Shook the rebound, Strom again. And Cash will get out there. Tipped out of bounds, but they'll say last touch by Penn State.
Bird hits the deck, and she just never reacts. She and Williams collide. That's why Strom is wide open. You see the challenge is just too late. Strom can flat out stick it from out there, 37%.
And now a foul called, first whistle of the game. And the foul is called on Sue Bird.
Yeah, now this is one of the pivotal matchups in this basketball game. The rookie Tanisha Wright is guarding the point guard. In Reenie's mind, Wright is a great defender. And they're a different basketball team when she gets pressure on the one guard and disrupts it. You don't see Sue Bird strip out front very often.
No, you don't. Wright, as good a talker as anything else, a trash talker. She'll stay in your ear from the opening tip all the way to the closing horn. And yes, their defensive specialist. Tanisha Wright, also a freshman.
Her offensive game has come around of late.
Shook gets the pass from Mazzanti. I'm not sure if it's a pass or a deflected shot. Either way, it ends up in 2 points, and Penn State with its first lead, 5-4.
Yeah, I don't think the statistician will be generous in giving that assist.
I don't think. Tamika Williams, the answer.
I think defensively, Connecticut has got to pick up the pace, because you can tell that Penn State's attitude is that they're here to compete.
Indeed they are. Missed shot there by Rashana Barnes, the senior co-captain. And a long pass to Swin Cash. There is that transition offense we talked about, trademark.
Yeah, you get the post running straight down the lane line. They run lanes as well as any team in the country.
Tanisha to Shook, very nice look from the freshman out of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania.
We see it big time using a crossover dribble to shake the defender. That was pretty.
Tamika Williams gets blocked by Shook. It stays in bounds, and it's Lady Lions basketball. Strong, the long bounce pass. Mazzanti, a three.
Well, your first responsibility when you play Penn State, obviously, in transition defense, is to find her, because they're the person she's looking to. Defensively, I don't care who's first back. You got to get out and spot up.
Taurasi spotting up from three, a little long. Rebound and put back by Williams.
That's been their best offense thus far. They've gotten excellent second shots. They did not capitalize early, but of late have made good use of that.
Out-rebounding opponents by over 16 a game. Such a key for Connecticut, and it's just part of the philosophy if you're going to be a Husky. You must rebound or you won't play. A whistle and a foul, and I think this one is on Swin Cash.
I think what you're seeing from Connecticut right now is because they are interchangeable defensively, they're switching on every screen. Connecticut in a ball game early, knotted up at 10. Penn State has survived the first 4 minutes, Michelle, but what you have to look at is transition defense. Connecticut's going to get the basketball, and then they run straight down the middle of the floor, and this could be any one of the five. Taurasi is a sensational passer. Swin Cash, great catch, and the adjust against the defense. But this is where they run you out and can put a lot of points on the board in a hurry. You've got to be careful with their transition.
UConn 5 of 11 from the floor. Penn State 4 of 9 so far, but 2 of 3 from three-point range. And Connecticut out-rebounding the Lady Lions 7-4. That's a typical storyline in a Connecticut game. Jess Strom, the three-pointer.
She's very relaxed. She's confident in that three-point ability. With Taurasi coming slowly over that screen, she just flared weak side. It was a good read by Strom.
Yeah, when you talk about their last matchup in 2000, you know that Asia Jones was there, and she has come such a long way, even from that time. But the answer right back, coming from Rashana Barnes, the senior out of Philadelphia.
See, this is one of the keys. When they score quickly, come back and answer Connecticut's ability to score in a hurry. And if you can become confident quickly, that's a big part of the battle.
Let's quickly check in with Beth Mowins.
Well, what we saw right there from Jess Strom was exactly what Reenie Portland told her team just a moment ago in the huddle. Continue to attack the pressure. And we talked to her yesterday about the first 15 shots of the game. They're better than 50% thus far, guys.
They are, and they continue to face the offensive onslaught, Beth, of this UConn team. And Asia Jones sometimes seems to be the ignored factor in this team. But maybe Tamika Williams a little bit, although her field goal percentage is incredible. But you think about Taurasi and Bird and Swin Cash, Asia Jones can silently attack you. But there is Tanisha Wright.
Because she's smaller and she's using her speed to go around the likes of Swin Cash. She was pretty athletic and speedy herself.
And Sue Bird, the Naismith Player of the Year, answers with a basket and then a steal on the inbounds play.
See, when she's aggressive offensively, look out, folks, because the kid can score. And she likes big games. She understands her team needs her right now.
She can score, and you don't see any of these players scoring huge numbers on a consistent basis because of their balance. They spread the ball around. No player gets more than 11 shots. They're all around 9, 10, or 11, which speaks to their balance. Tanisha Wright running into Swin Cash, and a foul called on Cash.
Well, sometimes you need players to step up and make plays. They're trying to gain momentum, so Sue Bird hangs around, makes a great steal, then a step back. They don't come to her, so she sticks the jumper. Yeah, I'll tell you what, she plays both sides of the ball, Sue Bird, and that's why you enjoy her.
Leads the team in steals. Came into this game with 88 on the season, about 2.5 a game. And there is Tanisha Wright, a 78% free throw shooter, and first subs into this game. Jessica Moore for UConn. And for Penn State, Courtney Upshaw, the 6'4" sophomore out of Southport, Connecticut, who knows a number of these players. Spent a lot of time watching Connecticut basketball up there in Southport. Wright makes them both. Cash with 2 fouls. Sitting on the bench. This game tied up at 19 apiece. Penn State playing better, I think, than people expected, and it has not been the Kelly Mazzanti show.
No, that's why they're here. I mean, you look at Wright's scoring in the NCAA, she has been sensational.
Taurasi from 3, off the back of the iron. Mazzanti chases it down. Tanisha Wright kicks out, and right there is Tamika Williams for the steal. Got in the way of Jess Strom getting the catch. Bounce pass inside, and now that's turned over right back to the Lady Lions.
Boy, great post defense by Rashana Barnes, their senior. She just steps off on the entry pass. That was pretty.
Just hitting the 13-minute mark, and you see the turnovers. Penn State 1 ahead over. And there's a huge three-point shot, but it will not fall for Mazzanti. Bird, the bullet pass underneath to Asia Jones.
Well, they spread the floor, they run their lanes, and it's hard to get back and guard all 5 spots quickly. You know, Reedy told us, I want to get to their perimeter people first, Taurasi and Bird, and then get to the lane. Well, guess what? It's the lane people who are hurting it.
Indeed. Tanisha Wright, oh, good look underneath to Upshaw, who doesn't quite get a handle on it. And that's over the top of the backboard, back to UConn.
The transition is order of business number 1 for Renee Portland and her Penn State Lady Lions. Look at this, the quick outlet, then the middle of the floor run by Asia Jones, and defensively sprint back and get to the middle of the paint. I'd go inside out defensively to guard this team.
Taurasi turns around off glass. Rebound to Barnes.
Taurasi's got a lot of good looks. She's only 1 for 6 to start the game, where this lead would be a little bit more significant.
She can have her shooting slumps. And there's the pull-up by Barnes, no good. Chasing it down, finally Taurasi. And back comes Bird. 7th meeting between these two. Penn State won the first 3. And UConn has won the last 3, dating back to that 2000 Final Four. Relentless on the rebounding is Jessica Moore, putting back her own shot and drawing the foul.
I'll tell you this about Jessica Moore. The bench from Connecticut has been much maligned, but Ashley Battle, Conlin, and Moore have improved significantly over the course of this season. With Swin on the bench for 2, it's important that Moore step up and play well.
She is a redshirt freshman, 6'3", 19 years old, out of Palmer, Alaska's Colony High School. And the first UConn player to hail from that state. A 60% free throw shooter. And now Maria Conlin comes in along with Ashley Battle, and Tamika Williams and Diana Taurasi will take a rest. two-time Gatorade Alaska High School Player of the Year at the line. Misses the second, and there is Upshaw for the rebound.
Just good, solid check out across the lane by Upshaw.
Mazzanti's shot rims out. And Ashley Battle was there to clean it up. Battle becoming another integral reserve, and that pass just too much for Jessica Moore from Bird. 22-19. Gina Auriemma just hated that. I'm sure they'll hear about it. Penn State the underdogs here, but Kelly Mazzante told us yesterday that the men's tournament has been inspiring her team.
Watching Indiana beat Men's Duke last night, it really was a big motivation factor for our team. You know, seeing them down 17 or how many they were and coming back, it really made us all think, wow, you know, there's no reason we can't go in tomorrow and do the same thing to Connecticut. And we just really have to stick to our game plan and do what we know how to do best.
I think Connecticut right now is struggling to contend with the dribble penetration of Tanisha Wright, the rookie from Penn State, who's really given a different dimension to the jump shooting Mazzanti.
Still, a number 4 seed can beat a number 1 seed in that Indiana-Duke game. Both of these teams saw it.
And just strong.
Yeah, they do.
She stuck three-point shots that she has wanted to step up. She and the rookie Tanisha Wright are roommates. But boy, they played extremely well.
Deflection by Mazzanti.
Well, you've got to have a supporting cast that understands when to shoot and how to step up. Off the little down screen by Rashona Barnes, Strom gets her feet set and a nice, smooth-looking jump shot.
Taurasi back into the game. You know, that Duke-Indiana game affected UConn as well. They saw that Duke was getting upset, and they thought, wow, you know, David is beating Goliath. That is so cool. But then they thought, hey, wait a minute. We're Goliath. We shouldn't root for these kinds of developments. This is what everyone's looking at us with that same sort of determination to knock off a power. 4 turnovers now by UConn. That doesn't help. Out of bounds, they'll say last touch by Penn State, and that's the 8th Lady Lion turnover as Diana Taurasi prepares to
She just gave a glance over to our broadcast position like, we got away with one there.
Diana Taurasi, Rainey Portland, and everyone else who coaches against this team knows is quite a personality.
Oh, she's a tremendous basketball player who's got a little edge to her, and the great ones do.
Fourth turnover on each team. Each team with 4 now. .10:23 mark here in the first half of the U.S. Cellular Arena, hosting this Mid-East regional semifinal, and Swin Cash, you know, she's always been good, but Gina Auriemma said this year everything about her game, from her defense to her passing to even her free throw shooting, just jumped several notches.
Well, I think every season she's added a dimension to her game, and that ability to dribble drive, I think, really will help her in the future.
Shot there by Katrina Carr doesn't go, but the putback does.
Jessica Brungo, good weak side board, contending with the speed of Swin Cash.
Almost get the sense, Doris, that Sue Bird feels she needs to take this over a little bit.
Now, I don't think there's any doubt. You are right on target. She understands that her team needs some confidence, and she's trying to give them that.
Sue Bird can strike you at first meeting as being rather soft-spoken, but she is a leader by example. She will get to talking once you start. And Katrina Carr doesn't miss.
Yeah, silent assassin. What did Taurasi do, Michelle? She backed off for 3 feet because she wants to put her head down and put it on the deck.
From 3, Bird off the mark. Rebound to Upshaw. UConn by just 2 right now, Doris Burke. This is a team that in its first 2 rounds of the tournament beat its opponents by about 44 points a game, 37 on average throughout the regular season.
But they have been in some ball games. You think about how tough Old Dominion played this basketball team early. Bonnie Henrikson's Virginia Tech squad played this team close. And, you know, Renee Portland was talking about that. She said it's difficult to get tape on this team because most coaches are struggling and they're playing in emergency mode. But she said there were about 3 tapes. And I guarantee you, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech were 2 of those where Connecticut was tested.
Sure. And even Iowa had them fairly close in the first half. In the second round, UConn went on some kind of run to open up the second half. Held Iowa to 4 points in the first 15 minutes of that second half. Rashana Barnes back into the game, and there's Carr who gets blocked by Taurasi. Barnes back in as well as Shook. 3 on the shot clock. Carr notices it. Strong fires one up and a shot clock violation.
That's just good deep. We talk so much about how sound this basketball team is offensively. You forget that defensively they hold teams to 31% shooting. And that is why this basketball team is so good.
Leads the nation in that category and could be on the verge of setting a new NCAA record in that category. It's interesting when you look back and see whose records they're going to be breaking. Often it's the 94-95 rendition of the Huskies. There's Taurasi, the shooter.
You don't want her heating up as well.
With Bird as aggressive as she is offensively, if Taurasi starts to shoot it, look out. 5th best 3-point shooter in the nation at over 45% from behind the arc. Taurasi out of Chino, California, Don Lugo High School.
Connecticut switches to a zone here. This is a little 2-3 look. They just switch things up defensively.
8 on the shot clock as that one gets launched by Jessica Brungo. And the sophomore out of Allison Park has a bucket.
Boy, she has given them good solid minutes off the bench. Was a starter earlier, but a lot more comfortable coming in assistance.
The bounce pass into Swin Cash. And she runs right into a defensive wall called Rashana Barnes, but the foul on Barnes. Second foul on the forward. So Swin Cash at the line. Cash became just the 2nd player in Big East history to lead the conference in both scoring and rebounding. Shelly Pennefather did it back in the mid-'80s. People might remember that name. Maria Conlon now coming in for Sue Bird, and back in are Tanisha Wright and Courtney Upshaw for Penn State. Surprisingly, Swin Cash does not have a rebound in this game yet. She's got 4 points. Those double-doubles may elude her today. Out of bounds, it'll be Penn State ball when we come back. 7:12 to go first half, and the Lady Lions trail by just 3. UConn by 3, and that 35-0. Penn State may have something to say about that. And the women's NCAA championship continues today on ESPN2 at 2:30 Eastern. It's the 2nd Mid-East Regional semifinal as 3rd-seeded Kansas State faces 7th-seeded Old Dominion. Then at 9:30 Eastern, 4th-seeded North Carolina takes on #1 Vanderbilt in the Midwest Regional Semi. ESPN, your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. There you go. San Antonio, the ultimate destination. Penn State coming out of the timeout and getting a bucket. Tanisha Wright as we check in with Beth Mullins.
Well, that was the first thing that Rainey Portland just told her team in the huddle. She wants Wright to penetrate, particularly if they do go back to some of that 2-3 zone. But she said it has to start with the defense. UConn's motion offense is very similar to Penn State. So she says, let's not get caught flat-footed here. We can anticipate because we know where the ball's going. Guys?
Well, I've said this before. They've had trouble contending with her dribble penetration. She wants to hit the deck. She uses a spin dribble beautifully to get space on Taurasi. And the lateral quickness of Connecticut right now being tested by this young woman, and her ability to use the bounce has produced great results for Rainey thus far.
6:35 to play first half. Taurasi is finding her shot. 2 3-pointers now. And meanwhile, how about Kelly Mazzanti? She has 1 field goal in this game. It came at the 16-16 mark. She is 1 of 4 from 3, 0 of 1 from 2-point range.
Well, we started this telecast telling you she's the nation's leading scorer, but we also mentioned that it's been the supporting cast of late that has stepped up. Jess Strom, their point guard, is 9 points, 3 assists. consider that other options are available besides this young woman and her ability to score. What happens sometimes, I think, when you have a great scorer is you give so much attention defensively to her, you forget. You're not as focused on those other people.
Tanisha Wright has chipped in 6. And Swin Cash back on the bench now. There's Asia Jones hanging on to the rebound, finding Maria Conlon. Inside to Jessica Moore, who came in for Swin Cash. Works her way around the paint, does not get the roll. But another offensive rebound, and Tamika Williams draws the foul.
Relentless on the backboards, and you get Sue Bird a brief rest, but she's got to get back in because Conlon is nowhere near the offensive weapon that Sue Bird presents to you. But you better guard 5 spots. You see the inside position that Tamika Williams, you just keep moving those feet until you get this. An offensive board, the defense is already out of position, and you get some free throws.
2 offensive rebounds for Williams. And she hits about 63% from the line. Back comes Sue Bird for Conlon. But Tamika Williams' most astounding statistical number is the 71% plus from the field. Best on the team, one of the tops in the nation.
Yeah, she just gave you a prime example of why, Michelle. A lot of her shots are they're point-blank range because she uses her feet so well to get position on both sides of the ball.
3-time, 3rd-team All-Big East. Tanisha Wright looking to set things up and looks over to Renee Portland for some instruction. 8 on the shot clock. Still moving it around. Upshaw not sure what to do. Mazzanti at the last second off the front of the iron, and there is that relentless rebounding by Tamika Williams. Long pass to Bird, and now the look inside to Asia Jones. Can't get the roll. Shook has the rebound.
Those chippies are not usually missed by these players, but they've missed a couple. Williams has missed one, now Jones has missed another.
And Gino Ariema will flat out tell him, you don't deserve a Division I scholarship if you can't make those. He's not a softie in practice. But then what coach is? Mazzanti. Oh, the call to foul. Taurasi thought she had a clean block.
She looked like she was in a pretty good position, I'll tell you that. Remember that when the shooter's hand is on the basketball, and if Taurasi does indeed get a piece of her hand while she's still got a piece of the basketball, then it shouldn't be a foul, but there is body contact, and that's probably why the whistle. Yeah, this is just a different angle of the same shot. Oof. See, that's why you get 2 different versions of that same shot. It's easy for us over here. It's a little bit different for those guys in the stripes.
First foul on Taurasi. Jess Strom comes back in as Jacqueline Shook goes to the bench. And Mazzanti just over 81% from the line on the season. Swin Cash back in, assuming she'll stay in for the last 4:50 of this first half. Asia Jones to the bench, but now another substitution they hope to get in is Ashley Battle. And Battle will come in for Jessica Moore.
Penn State comes with a little pressure now. This is Rena's really been her style in her entire career. Extend full court, go transition. A little 1-2-1-1.
Don't see Connecticut have trouble breaking that press too often. Just not a lot you can do to slow down this team. Remember, you've got 4 seniors on this UConn team. They've grown up together, have been basically a #1 team since they arrived in Stores.
Wow, there's got to be some contact coming across the paint. Brungo stepping up and bodying inside. Shot clock at 4, so it's got to be a pretty quick hit by Connecticut. They see the contact by Brungo just trying to beat Swin the spot. There's some contact, but you know what? Both are given and taken there.
There's a perfectly executed inbound play. Taurasi to a Bird who's cutting out to the wing and hits the 3. You're getting a terrific illustration of why Sue Bird is the Naismith Player of the Year.
Unselfish-minded, but when her team needs it, that ability to step up and score and become a focal point offensively, she's got it. That's a mentality, Michelle.
Just under the 4-minute mark. Strom finding Williams. 5 on the shot clock. Or Wright, excuse me, Tanisha Wright. And she loses it out of bounds, but last touch by UConn. 1 second on the shot clock for Penn State when we come back. 3:50 to go, first half. UConn by 7.
Rece Davis with you in the studio. South Carolina and Drake in the East. Sweet 16 games. Christina Chocon, a feel for you. A feel for Jocelyn Penn. Good look inside. South Carolina up big by 18.
Love the Chaka Khan reference there, Rece Davis.
Wow, impressive.
Very impressive. Sue Bird has the fans here. 1 on the shot clock for UConn. Bird with 10 points for Penn State, rather, and they cannot get the shot to go. The pass in to Tanisha Wright, and she just runs into the defender.
You know, in a conversation we all had with Nell Fortner, I'm reminded of something Nell said to us all, and that was she believes that Pat Summitt made Gino a better defensive coach, and Gino's probably made Pat Summitt a better offensive coach. There's the backdoor to Spritti.
Oh, and Sue Bird gets it to Tamika Williams, who goes up and cleans up the rebound. No look to Bird from Taurasi. Picture perfect.
Unselfish basketball team. They're just, I'll tell you folks, it's a treat to watch this basketball team when they play well. But I think Nell's point is very well taken. It's a second shot clock violation by Connecticut.
Yes. Now that time, Jessica Brungo answers with a 3 of her own. 7-point lead. UConn has converted 4 of its last 4 3-pointers. Meanwhile, Kelly Mazzanti just 1 of 7 from the field. Make that 4 of 5 now that Taurasi misses on the 3. Taurasi misses. Bird. Swin Cash driving the low post move. Beautiful.
Yeah, she has extended her arsenal offensively. That little jump stop, the step-through move is very effective. She sells the defense on the pump and then goes.
There's Mazzanti with her 2nd field goal of the game. But just 2 baskets here in the first half. 2 of 2 from the line. She has 7 points.
Impressive understanding by that young woman. Good use of the backdoor cut.
Williams. Now Bird. 2:15 first half. Credit the defense of Penn State. But Tamika Williams under the buzzer gets it to go.
Sometimes you need players to make plays. Beth was talking about the number of assisted baskets. That's a case where the shot clock is down, and then your individual basketball skills are put at a premium, and they have those as well.
UConn 13 assists on 18 field goals. And Tamika Williams 8 points. Now a look inside, and they're going to call Taurasi again for a foul. She's trying to block shots, but that's the 2nd time she's been called underneath the basket. Stay tuned for the Marriott halftime report coming up next. Rece Davis, Vera Jones, Nell Fortner. They'll bring you up to date on that Drake, South Carolina game and take a closer look at these UConn seniors. Maybe the most pivotal game for the UConn seniors was losing to Iowa State in the NCAAs when they were freshmen. And Swin Cash, Asia Jones, Sue Bird, Tamika Williams, haven't forgotten it. Yes, they came back and won a national championship in the year 2000. They'd love to end their senior note with a W, I think, as Sue Bird put it yesterday. Taurasi has it stolen.
A poor decision, as gifted as she is. You'll let her have 1 or 2 of those because she just makes plays, Taurasi, but that was a little over-penetration.
1:18 to play, first half. 7-point ball game. Penn State giving UConn about as much as it can handle. Sue Bird, another Kara. Ashley Battle fighting for it, and yes, another UConn turnover. Here comes Wright.
Yeah, a couple of poor decisions in a row.
Each team with 6 turnovers. You can hear Reedy Portland screaming across the floor at Jess Strom, her freshman point guard, trying to set up this play.
Connecticut switching screens. If somebody can't get over, they just make a switch.
Tanisha Wright was relentless on that and ended up drawing the foul.
Who does this go on? Asia Jones? Yes, indeed. Okay. Yep. Taurasi was in that mix. You certainly wouldn't want to get her 3, but here's some penetration. She turns a corner. She gets blocked the first, but as you said, her persistence pays dividends. And again, she is flat out just dribble driving and causing all sorts of havoc for the Connecticut defense.
First foul on Jones. And Tanisha Wright getting her 9th point in this ball game. Standing 5'11", second on the team in scoring behind Mazzanti at just under 9 a game.
And she's gotten 5 of those from the free throw line. That's a prime indication of somebody who's putting some pressure on your defensive help inside.
Has done well from the line with just under 35 seconds to play. UConn calling a timeout. The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship continues today at 2 Eastern Time as 4th-seeded Texas faces the top seed Duke in the East Regional semifinal from Raleigh, North Carolina. Duke riding that 20-game winning streak. ESPN is your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championships. And the East, very interesting as well. South Carolina and Drake wrapping up right now on ESPN2. So the winner of that Duke-Texas game, and that game being in Raleigh, it would be interesting if South Carolina and Duke were to meet up. Very nice atmosphere.
Yeah, no question, but I'd tell you this, Jody Conrad into the Sweet 16 again, and Pat Summitt, Pat's been chasing that all-time wins mark in women's college basketball, and Jody is doing her best to, keep that margin. But what a game that should be, folks, and a watch, well worth a watch. Diana Taurasi, one of the superb sophomores, but Elena Beard from Duke, she is sensational.
There are a bunch of terrific sophomores, Mazzanti being yet another right here on this floor.
And look at his second chance points. Connecticut offensive boarding and making Penn State pay. And I'll tell you, a lot of their offense has been generated through their ability to rebound the ball.
Tamika Williams, 4 offensive rebounds. Just under 15 now. The shot clock down to 5 for Connecticut. Oh, a great pass to cutting Diana Taurasi. Doesn't make the first, doesn't make the second. But another offensive board. Superb shot won't fall. And UConn failing to score here in the waning seconds of this first half. Gina Auriemma, perhaps a little concerned. Team up by just 6. And Beth Bowens is standing by. Beth.
Well, Gino, you were able to do a good job containing Kelly Mazzanti in that first half, but it seems like the dribble penetration allowed some other folks to get involved. How do you keep them in check in the second half?
Yeah, I think this is probably the worst defensive half that we've played all year. And that's why, it's dangerous when you try to put too much energy on stopping one player. That's fine, but I don't think we did a very good job at all keeping them out of the lane. You're right. And then when we did try to help, we didn't really get a lot of help for the guys that are helping. So we're going to have to go in at halftime and figure out a way to play better defense.
All right, thank you, Gino. Michelle?
Something tells me they will find a way to get it done. 6-point lead for the #1 seed, undefeated UConn Huskies. And we send it now to Reese Davis in the studio. Reese?
Michelle, that 6-point lead ties the second smallest UConn's had at any halftime this year. Drake not having any kind of luck hanging around with South Carolina. This is Sean Gortman from the Gamecocks. Well, nobody's going to get a hand in her face. She just drains the triple. It was a 17-point lead at one point, now down to 10. So Drake hanging around, trying to get back in it. Still to come here on the Marriott Halftime Report. Look at some of the players who perhaps have flown a little bit under the radar in their run to the Sweet 16. Here and they'll join me in a bit.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by SportsCenter. Which SportsCenter do you watch?
Welcome back to Milwaukee, where UConn has a 6-point lead over Penn State. The last time it was this close at the half for the UConn Huskies was when they were at Tennessee and they led by 6. But let's not fail to recognize the 2 key players for Penn State right now. 2 freshmen, best friends, and they're combining for a lot of good things for Penn State.
Jess Strom and Tanisha Wright, impressive contributions alongside Mazzanti. 18 points and 8 assists, so virtually 36 of their 38 points have come from their 2 rookies. That's impressive.
It is impressive. Second chance points has been where UConn's done the bulk or a good chunk of its scoring. 12 points to 2 in that category. UConn shooting better than Penn State. Both doing very well from three-point range, and of course UConn out-rebounding this opponent as they've done against so many. Kelly Mazzanti has 7 points in this game, and 2 of those have come at the foul line. So you can see that they've done the job on her. But as Gino Auriemma told Beth Mowins at halftime, and as you said from the beginning, Doris, it is dangerous to focus on one player.
Well, I think Strom and Wright have become increasingly proficient at understanding where their shots should come from within the context of Mazzanti's game, and that maturity has made this team a different basketball team.
Tanisha Wright again going right into Swin Cash, and Cash looking around like, wasn't there a call there?
Well, Tanisha Wright is 5'11", but she's got a solid frame. She's got the ability to use the bounce. So 6'2" is not that much of a size differential. She's bodying up, she's getting close, and she's simply shooting over them.
Cash driving into the paint and loses it back to Tanisha Wright. Wright is not intimidated whatsoever. Strom finds herself outside the circle. Swish.
You don't lose the shooter who drained you for 3. Vera Jones said you haven't seen Gino mad yet. Well, guess what, B? He might become increasingly upset if they continue to give up wide open looks. You don't collapse that far defensively.
Sue Bird flying to the basket.
It's amazing that a kid as selfless as Bird, and who always looks to find other people, has stepped up at an important moment and become, you know, a focal point offensively.
Let's check in with Beth Mowins once again on the sidelines. Beth?
Well, Michelle, from the Penn State locker room, some things they wanted to work on. They need to make better contact when they are boxing out. They were losing contact, and that was why they were giving up so many offensive boards. Renee Portland wants them to get back to their attacking style of offense that they played early on in the first half. And how about the performance of Jess Strom now in 2.5 tournament games, 26 assists, and just 7 turnovers. Michelle?
Well, she led, Beth, the Big Ten in assists per game, and there's Mazzanti now doing what she does best. It's a 2. But yes, Jess Strom, as a freshman, making her presence known not only in the Big Ten, but here on the national stage.
I think anytime you have a freshman with a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, you're thrilled. And she's done better than that. She's been sensational.
Back comes Mazzanti after the UConn miss. Strom penetrating, and again, right into Cash, and rather Asia Jones, and that was just enough to make the shot not fall. Tamika Williams runs into a jump ball situation.
Mazzanti can get her own shots, there's no question. She worked hard on her ability to use the bounce to create shots, uses the crossover, and then here comes the on-ball screen, the simple step back, you go underneath the screen and you pay for it.
Good screen by Rashana Barnes there. It held Sue Bird out of that picture.
But what you need is your big to step up and give a little hedge help and get a challenge on that jump while Bird tries to contend with the screen.
Quick release by Mazzanti. Fails to drop that time, and back comes Bird. Oh, great pass to Asia Jones, but there's another missed chippy, Doris.
I think something to consider here early in the second half is you see Wright go right at him. They love that aggression. One of the things to consider is that Connecticut's supposed to win, and all the pressure that grows with each successive passing minute, that pressure builds and builds.
And there is Tamika Williams answering, getting the lead back out to 3 for Auriemma's team. They have a little bit of nervousness within each of them, they've said. If you're not nervous, you're not human, you're not ready for this tournament. But as he has told us, boy, it's been so business as usual. Great block by Jones. And now a whistle, yeah.
Yes. We've talked about it. Tanisha Wright has been so aggressive. Defensively stopped the basketball. Like, how about that collapse in transition defense? Nobody picks her up. I'm sure Gino is absolutely disgusted. He said they couldn't play worse defense. Well, that was a continuation of the first half.
There's Tanisha Wright and her teammate Rashana Barnes now with 3 personal fouls. And another pass inside to a cutting Asia Jones, and she draws the foul.
A slow whistle, but these are unselfish players. There's not a lot of space to complete that, folks. They made it look easy, but good catch by Asia Jones.
Asia Jones heads to the line. Tanisha Wright fouled her, and it was Wright's first. Jones set the record for career games played for UConn. Misses the front end there. 60.1%. And in comes Jessica Brungo. And she is replacing Rashana Barnes. Asia Jones, also the MVP of the Big East tournament, was absolutely brilliant in that tournament. Misses both free throws, and haven't we seen miss free throws a key in the tournament?
Look at Williams get after it. Wow. She draws a foul on Shook. But you're right, Asia Jones' ability to extend her game, and more importantly, to become more aggressive offensively. Asia Jones has a package of skills. What she chooses to do with them night in and night out is important.
Shook called for her second foul. Tamika Williams just edging out her season average.
There is a point in time earlier this season where Connecticut early really struggled with their free throw shooting. Now they upped those numbers to 72%, but tonight from the free throw line. Now 4 of 10.
Boy, certainly not the numbers you like to see in big games. Those numbers they could afford in some of their blowouts, but not in the big games. And no game could be bigger this season than the one they're in right now.
Straight 2-3 zone, they're aggressive in it.
Tanisha Wright, a nice pass underneath and a block by Williams.
Boy, I'll tell you this, Tamika Williams has had nicks, cuts, bruises all season long. It's been on and off in her ability to practice, but she has come to play today.
And UConn has come to block shots today. They averaged just under 6 a game. They've got 8 in this game, Doris. Bird.
Man, in the face of a defender off the dribble, she is very solid. One pull and shoot.
And there's a pull and shoot answer from Kelly Mazzanti. It's a 2. 55-49, just over 15 minutes to go.
Right back at you, Mazzanti. That was a tough shot.
Sue Bird cutting into the lane. This time rebounder Brungo. Good position there. And Jess Strom going right at Sue Bird. And a good look.
Help the helper. Help the helper. You get a little assistance on the step up from Jessica Moore, but where was the backside defender? Somebody step up and help the helper.
5th assist, speaking of help, from Strom. That one to Shook. And Jacqueline Shook making her presence felt on both ends of the floor right now. The 6'5" sophomore out of Aurora, Illinois. 3-pointer, no good. Williams with the rebound gives it right over to Bird.
Jacqueline Shook, you're right. Here's a player 6'5". They don't want anything offensively, but she's been a presence on the defensive side, Michelle.
Taurasi. I'm sure the bench glad to see her drain one.
She's not shot the ball well, Michelle, but she's got 6 assists and 5 boards. Sometimes Taurasi's shooting ability is overshadowed or is not given enough attention to the other parts of her game. She can do other things.
Boy, can she. One of them is block shots. One of them is pass. 7 on the shot clock for the Lady Lions.
Good exchange between Cash and Taurasi right there.
Strong driving past Bird. And here comes Bird getting the handoff from Asia Jones. Pulls up. And tied up on the rebounder, a couple of UConn players. It will go back to Penn State. Jessica Moore coming in, and slow to get up is Tamika Williams. 6-point lead for Connecticut. Connecticut by 6 here in the second half, and watch the middle of your screen, number 34. Tamika Williams trips and falls. They think there's going to be a foul call, but look, even after the basket doesn't fall, she tries to get up and go for the rebounder, and it's Asia Jones who falls down over her, and then a Penn State player on top of Jones Tamika Williams falling hard, and you see the cut there over her right eye.
Now, listen, she has battled a lot of things this season. She's had pain in her left arm and shoulder. She's had to battle the uncertainty of that. She's had thoracic outlet syndrome. Practice has been up and down for her. She's not been able to compete consistently. And I'll tell you what, boy, that was a pretty good shot she took.
You get the sense she'll play right through it. On is Sue Bird. She's on the bench right now, and Beth Mowins has an update. Beth?
Yeah, it's just a cut above that right eye. They do expect Tamika to return. The biggest concern for Gino in that last huddle was the energy level. He said, we got to start picking it up. We're not playing with any emotion right now. Michelle?
Well, it's an interesting point. It's when you play so many games every season.
But sometimes, and here, we've talked about just the 3 games where they've been challenged. Sometimes, how do you react? You're used to huge leads. When somebody tests you a little bit, what's your reaction to it?
Well, that's a good reaction right there by Swin Cash. And the transition offense.
And another assist and fine pass from Taurasi.
Bird deflects it out of bounds. See some scores coming in. As South Carolina up comfortably on Drake with just over 2 minutes to go. There in the East. Here comes Tamika Williams, the Warrior, back in, a bandage over that eye.
You know, she's been a huge force for Gino Auriemma. She's already got 8 boards, Tamika Williams, 11 points and 4 of 8 shooting. And he gets her back quickly, as he should. Back to the 2-3 zone. So Connecticut, a lot of man-to-man. They'll match up on this 2-3.
Tanisha Wright travels.
You get the sense that the presence of this Connecticut team is starting to change.
Yeah.
Maybe those words that Beth Mowins just heard in that huddle are starting to step to. They're becoming a little bit more aggressive.
Forcing the 8th turnover on this Nittany Lion team. Let's not forget this game started at 11 local time. That feels like noon to UConn. And the same is true for Penn State. But that's a little bit of a different time range than we've been used to in this tournament. You wonder if it ever affects teams. Tamika Williams, relentless on the boards once again. It'll remain UConn ball with 28 on the shot clock. 61-51. They've extended it to 10. And Auriemma has to feel some comfort in that. Connecticut has its largest lead of this game. They're up by 10. And the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship rolls on tonight at 7 Eastern Time. The Midwest Regional Semi #1. BYU, the 11th seed, versus Tennessee at 9 Eastern. The West Regional Semi, Colorado and Stanford. And then the second regional semi out of the West follows that at 11:30 Eastern Time, Texas Tech and Oklahoma. ESPN and ESPN2, your exclusive home for the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. And more excitement like that.
Right off the bench, you get another score. Now, Connecticut 3 times has scored off their inbounds. They've been very efficient running those set plays.
A 16-4 Connecticut run with 11.5 to play. Penn State's last points came at the 14:44 mark. Tanisha Wright driving, will draw the foul, no basket.
You watch Maria Conlon's going to start at the elbow. Bird sets the screen and goes. Mazzanti thought there was going to be a switch. They don't. Poor exchange defensively. 3-pointer for UConn.
Conlon about 34% from behind the arc. She does it well from downtown. Maria Conlon often brought in just for that reason.
Well, she gets the 3, Michelle, but defensively right. She was given several steps to. Takes her right off the dribble.
Let's check in again with Beth Mowins.
Well, Michelle, you guys have been talking about that Connecticut transition. That's what Renee Portland's been talking about as well in that last huddle. She said our transition defense has to get better, and the first thing we have to do is get on the offensive glass ourselves. Make Connecticut have to take the ball out of bounds like they did right there after the free throw. Then they've got to try and stop Sue Bird. As both coaches have told us yesterday in the shoot-around, she's the key to getting their transition game going. Michelle?
And Beth, she's the key to just about everything if you ask Gino Auriemma. He has put the responsibility of just about every aspect of this team's play on her shoulders, and it's a responsibility Bird accepts. In fact, thinks she thrives on it. Mazzanti deflects it out of bounds, 4 seconds on the shot clock.
He's flat out told Bird anything that goes wrong on this basketball floor is your fault. Whether it is or isn't, that's the case.
Conlon at the last second beats the shot clock, but last touched by Connecticut. And Tamika Williams is sort of rubbing her neck and feeling a little bit of probably the aftershocks of that injury.
Maybe she's trying to tell the official that there was some contact as they both hustled for the loose ball.
It could be that as well. Swing Cash back to the bench.
Yeah, back to the 2-3 zone. Connecticut has gone to this defense a lot here in the second half, so they like what they've gotten out of this. They will be aggressive. They will match up.
Right spinning. And the block shot by Jones, and now tipped right back by Barnes to her teammate Mazzani. Brungo, no good. And Williams there for the rebound. Sue Bird for 3, off the mark.
Oh, look at Williams. She's a terror. She has been an absolute nightmare. And why is she tough? Because that time she started from 16 feet and she went across the lane. Now, how do you contend with the foot speed that she's got at that distance?
Foot speed and the size, 6'2", and not skinny. Jessica Brungo, the answer. I mean, Tamika Williams is a physical, muscular player. She's coming at you in the lane. There's not a lot you can do.
She got a double-double, 13 and 11 already.
Missed by Asia Jones. Mazzani has it and double dribbles. 15th career double-double for Williams. And here comes Swing Cash back into the game. She replaces Williams, who gets some much-deserved rest.
Irene was telling us yesterday how many different coaches called her to give advice on how to stop Connecticut. She sort of was appreciative, but nonetheless getting a chuckle. She said, and these people have been successful contending with Connecticut?
Nobody has. By the way, Williams has 8 offensive rebounds in that double-double while she sits on the bench. That is tying her career best in offensive rebounding. 11-point Connecticut lead. And look at Asia Jones struggling to hang on. Double team, shoots through it. Oh! That's UConn magic. Penn State and Connecticut, 68-55, but this game has been a battle. Both teams. Gino Auriemma told our Beth Mullins at halftime it's the worst first half of defense we've ever played. He's still looking for energy from his team. Kelly Mazzanti has not put on a fireworks display. Instead, for Penn State, contributions from a couple of freshmen, Tanisha Wright and Jess Strom. Mazzanti, the nation's leading scorer. There's Tanisha Wright, a defensive specialist, but handling the ball quite well today and scoring. Mazzanti, 4 of 15 from the field with 11 points.
Strom and Wright, though, combining for 27 points, 10 assists. So a large majority of Penn State's offense coming through the 2 rookies. And the reason Reenie's in the Sweet 16 is because of the contributions of those 2 players in the NCAA tournament.
Reenie Portland took her team to its their first Final Four in the year 2000. Can they get back? (68-55) with just over 8.5 to play here in Milwaukee. This is the first Mideast Regional Semi. And Kansas State will take on Old Dominion in the second. That one comes along at 2:30 Eastern Time. And that's on ESPN2. Kansas State becoming sort of the darlings of this region.
Boy, that is one of the more intriguing matchups remaining in this tournament. Kansas State young, but talented.
And this one is pretty intriguing as well and could get back to intriguing in a hurry. Taurasi missing the 3. And Tanisha Wright has been impressive all day long. The freshman out of West Mifflin High School in Pennsylvania. Best friends with Jess Strom, her counterpart in the backcourt. And there's Rashana Barnes out of West Catholic High School in Pennsylvania. scoring off the glass.
Yeah, we've talked about Tamika Williams' injuries. Barnes has been a warrior for Penn State. She's had knee trouble. It's been unexplained all season, but has been mentally tough, played through it.
Had to alternate days in which she could practice. Taurasi taking it to the rim. And they'll say off the hands of Penn State. UConn ball, although there's some debate. We'll find out when we come back. 68-57, and one of the most telling statistics in this game as we take a look first at UConn trying to get a second chance point, and Swin Cash going up for the rebound. Gino Auriemma furious. He thought she was hit on the back of the head. Does he have a beef, Doris?
From that particular angle, we saw the hand go over, but not the contact. Now, he's a little bit closer. And again, an official's calls are always determined by the angle at which they view it. It's the luxury that we have. That's going to be a hold on Mazzanti, no question.
Whistle. And it is on, well, he said it was on number, yeah, it's on Mazzanti. Second personal on Mazzanti. 7:49 to play. And the rebound to Rashana Barnes off the miss by Asia Jones. Second chance points have been huge for UConn, 21-4 in that category over Penn State.
This is a bad matchup for Connecticut. We'll see that they don't, well, they board it eventually, but that's a tough one for Connell.
Look at Sue Bird get down the floor, drawing the foul. It's senior versus freshman in that one-on-one, and UConn really starting to come together. But watch Sue Bird and the speed.
Well, you got to pursue the basketball. It comes loose out of Rashana Barnes. Sue Bird is there, and because of her mentality, she's been so aggressive today. This has been for her MO all afternoon. Go hard to the rim or shoot shots that are given to you.
Second foul on Strom. Tamika Williams coming in to replace Maria Conlon. And Bird at the line is a phrase you hear often, and you know when she is at the line. More often than not, it's going to do that. 93% from the stripe on the season. Just remarkable numbers.
Career leader in free throw percentage. She's been solid her entire career, and there's so many reasons why she's attractive at the next level, but she's got 5 assists and 4 boards. And otherwise, a very great, good afternoon for her. I'll tell you, defensively, she's been sound too in the show.
Get in there, deflecting the pass. It's sent out of bounds, and she is sent tumbling. No worries, she's right back up on her feet. Ball back to Penn State, but 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, she's put great pressure out front, tries to make the great hustle play, and you love the effort.
Shot clock down to 2, and another shot clock violation. They turn it over just as the clock ticks over, but UConn's defense has done that 3 times in this game to Reedy Portland's clock.
That's been the trouble for most teams. They might play it first half very close, but this is the time, and Nell said it. She said, I really believe they'll wear them down.
They're a bunch of players who are in great condition, and the fact that Sue Bird is hitting threes from Green Bay at this point demonstrates the fact that her muscles aren't feeling fatigued. At their shoot-around yesterday, which was open to the public, people came down to watch because they had heard from you, by the way, in the local paper, that UConn was as good a practice team as there ever was, and they got a show here yesterday.
Yeah, they did. I think as you see Bird do it, she does. Just put dagger after dagger, the silent assassin. Everything that we're watching on the floor is a direct result of the kind of practice habits and the way this Connecticut basketball team conducts themselves. I know Seal Barry at Colorado went at one point and spent some time in stores with Gino, just wanting to get an understanding of the things he was doing in his program. And that's, you know, that's just smart coaching of Seal Barry. He's had great success. That's as fine a practice as you'll see run. I don't care what level you're talking about, Michelle. College, pro, men, women, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It was breathtaking. They ran some fast break drills, a lot of passing drills, and as Beth mentioned earlier, their assist numbers tremendous. And the passing drills demonstrate exactly why. Everything is done with such precision. This isn't just a talented athletic athletic team. It is a well-oiled, well-practiced machine. I would say last touch by Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State has changed things defensively, and they've gone with this sort of 3-2 zone look. And where Connecticut's looking to attack Rainey's club is right at the free throw line.
South Carolina Drake has gone final. South Carolina advancing to the Elite Eight, and another three-pointer by Taurasi, and that one draws a smile. You get the sense this UConn team almost feels out of danger. And Taurasi screaming after the offensive foul called against Penn State.
I think Rainey is using this timeout because she's going to send a very clear message to her team that you played with pride this entire afternoon. And don't sit here and give up this kind of stuff. You forget the inbounder and you give up a three, and now you start to look like this wasn't a ball game. Look at her reaction. She is, I tell you, one of the more, I think, my personal favorite in the history of watching basketball. She is fun to watch, Diana Taurasi.
Entertaining. And when that smile may have just been a little thorn in the side of Renee Portland. No foul called there. Check that. It was just a timeout call because, just as you said, giving up the easy bucket and seeing if there can be such a thing as emotional momentum swing the way of Taurasi with that smile.
Renee said this, and just used this phrase over the course of her entire career. She said, when you wear a Penn State uniform, remember who we are and what we represent. And she wants to make sure her team plays this last 5:38 as hard as they played the first 15 minutes.
She even, Doris, cites a line from the school song which says, "Let no act of mine bring shame." She repeats that often to Tanisha Wright, who's such a talker on the floor. But you're right. Renee Portland has been at Penn State for 22 years and saw a very good first half out of her team. No reason to let up with 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go.
Remember, no 10 second. I'm sure there's folks watching this game think a 10-second violation. They did take over 10. There is no such call. You can take as much time as you wish.
In the women's game, that is a rule difference. 7 on the shot clock. Bird loses it out of bounds. Back to Penn State. But Bird's even smiling at her own mistake. 76-58. 5:03 to play. Connecticut with 9 turnovers and now a foul called. And that will be on Tamika Williams.
Wow, that was a pretty fast whistle.
First foul on the senior out of Dayton, Ohio. Played at Chaminade Julienne High School. 21 years old, Tamika Williams. You see that cut on her eye. If you're joining us late, she got that earlier in the game, falling hard, face down into the ground. Mazzanti. 5 of 18 is Mazzanti. Taurasi on the other end.
Special. She struggled shooting the ball. She still got 15.
She moved so well to the basket. Foul called on Jacqueline Shook. That's her third.
Well, Taurasi, they don't stop basketball, and she's an aggressive-minded player anyway. And then the turnover, Swin Cash, those long, long arms, that wingspan, boy, that's attractive. The crossover dribble, here's the repertoire she's added.
Diana Taurasi and Swin Cash, both second-team All-Americas. Cash missing, has 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists in the game, and it'll stay on this end. But how about this? Sue Bird, first-team All-America. Cash and Taurasi, second-team All-America. Asia Jones, third-team. First time ever one school represented with 4 players on the first 3 teams. And oh, by the way, Tamika Williams, an honorable mention.
Boy, I tell you, I wouldn't want to be the person voting Swin Cash second-team All-America. She had a sensational year.
Struggling a bit on these easier shots, and now a whistle underneath. And the foul is on Tanisha Wright. Well, join ABC Sports tonight at 8 Eastern and Pacific for the highly anticipated Ladies Long program at the World Figure Skating Championships. Catch the showdown among Olympians Michelle Kwan, Sasha Cohen, and Arina Slutskaya. It's the ladies and dance finals of the World Figure Skating Championships, presented by Expedia.com. Cash at the line, 70% free throw shooter. 1 of 4 today. UConn now 8 of 14 from the line, and a timeout call, 30 seconds. UConn up 20 with 4:15 to go. Well, Gino Auriemma has found ways in a number of different cities to motivate his team. When they went to New York City, he took them to a showing of the Producers.
And the Producers, I thought, was a way to show them that Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick have been doing that for 2 years. And they come out every single day, and for the amount of money that it costs to get those tickets, they make you feel like that's the first show that they've done. And that's talent. And I wanted them to see what that kind of commitment is, to be able to do that every night.
And it seemed in talking to Sue Bird and Swin Cash yesterday, Doris, that did make an impact. They loved the show, and they thought, my goodness, you know, here we are, we've seen this, they're doing it night in, night out, but they do it beautifully every time. I think that's a great lesson. And he's used a number of opportunities. Took them to the FBI Academy, took them to a Wizards practice. Doug Collins let them come in and watch Michael Jordan and company practice. Another good lesson in professionalism.
So you talk about how do you motivate when you're up 30 most nights. Beth Mowins showed you the 37-point differential to start this broadcast. But you have to be creative, and he has done that. He keeps a good balance on the floor and off the floor with these guys.
Zandy with that quick release. I think that shot was deflected. Tanisha Wright trying to put it back. Tamika Williams continues to add to her rebound total. An even dozen for Williams in the rebound category. By the way, Swin Cash for third foul. 3:33 to play. Cash off the mark. Not her best shooting outing today.
She has struggled shooting the basketball. Taurasi's only 6 of 17. And Cash is not much better. She's been a little more efficient, 4 of 7, but she just hasn't looked sharp.
Easy look by Mazzanti doesn't fall, and then Rashana Barnes on her way up draws the foul. Barnes, the 11th player in Lady Lion history with 1,000 points and 7 rebounds. She will head to the line.
The line for Penn State 31, Rashana Barnes, shooting 2.
Asia Jones called for her third foul. Well, they have not let Kelly Mazzanti, the nation's leading scorer, beat them.
5 of 20 shooting, 25%. 1 of 7 from long range.
Barnes sitting on 4 points. Jessica Moore and Ashley Battle coming in for Swin Cash and Tamika Williams. And that may be it for 32 and 34. 3 minutes to go, 20-point lead for UConn. And Rashana Barnes trying to make the second, a 75% shooter at the stripe. Misses both. Taurasi flies in for the carom. So with 2 starters on the bench, Ashley Battle and Jessica Moore will get a little more playing time here for Connecticut. Bird staying out there. Great bounce pass to Asia Jones, doesn't fall. And if there's one thing I'll come away from this game with, Doris Burke, it's a clear memory of Tanisha Wright.
Yes, no question. This is a talent. Jeff Strom. I like the toughness of Jeff Strom to set the tone early with the long threes. Tanisha Wright, boy, if she develops a jump shot, she'll be near impossible to check.
The two have been best friends since high school, playing AAU ball together. Nice look inside to Mazzanti from Wright. Marini Portland is gathering her team around her, calls the timeout. Look at this back door, Doris.
Well, she's had to learn to be creative. The overplay by Bird, she reads it. And this is a young woman who can curl tight off a screen. She's going to roll right to the rim if you follow behind the screen. She'll backdoor you if you overplay. She's developed an understanding of how to endure all of that pressure.
She scored her 1,000th point earlier this year, did Mazzanti, and became the fastest player in the history of the conference.
Yeah, 47 games, this against Michigan State. She has broken a total of 30, folks, 30 Penn State or Big Ten records. It's been a sensational year for her. What Rini and her staff did was gather a lot of Southwest Missouri State tapes and see how Jackie Stiles became the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NCAA, because you have to become more and more creative to get her shots. They've seen every kind of defense. The kid has responded to everything.
And she herself, a big Jackie Stiles fan, would love to model her game and continue in the way that Jackie Stiles continued. Jackie Stiles, big stories of last year's tournament. Whistle and a foul underneath as Ashley Battle was going to the basket. Mazzanti right now 6 of 21 from the floor, 1 of 8 from three-point range, 15 points, 3 rebounds, but a sophomore. 3 fouls to go along that line as well. And you talked about the class of the sophomore class this year is just astonishingly good, east to west. We haven't even mentioned Nicole Powell at Stanford, Elena Beard, we've got a couple here, and Lindsay Whalen, Big Ten Player of the Year out of Minnesota. So many. Gail Gesticours in an interview said that class of sophomores, she believes, may change the face of women's college basketball before it's done, which is a pretty strong statement. When you watch players like Taurasi and Mazzanti and Powell and Beard and the way that they play, there is an attitude, a strength, and aggressiveness about all of them. I'll say last touch by UConn, so it's still Penn State ball. 1:25 to go, 80-62. Well, that's all you can do, Rainey, is smile. Back in a moment. Well, it has been today, 80-62. Connecticut leading Penn State, 1:25 to play. Sue Bird is our Nike player of the game. 24 points, 6 assists, unafraid from behind the arc. And with those numbers, why hesitate? Inbound pass to Rashana Barnes off the glass, and UConn still battling hard. A couple of starters in there. Asia Jones, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, the 3 starters still on the floor, along with Ashley Battle and Jessica Moore. Just over a minute to play. Doris, if you're Gino Auriemma and you know that your team played miserably defensively in the first half, is that the biggest thing you take out of this game heading into the next round?
I think he'll certainly use that as motivation in the off-day practice. As Sue Bird told us, they don't play against one another or against that second team in practice. We compete against Gino Auriemma, and he will have some things to say tomorrow.
Tanisha Wright flying to the hoop, and she gets it to fall.
How does she get that off? That still, get it anywhere in the vicinity of the rim. That's a tough shot.
Tanisha Wright and Jess Strom, such close friends that the Stroms even gave Tanisha her own room at the house because she stayed over so much. And they were essentially a package deal at Penn State. Rini Portland was not convinced about Jess Strom, but watched her enough and finally said, all right, Jess, you can come too. There were rumors that NC State was going to give them both sort of a package deal. I think Rini Portland has come out okay by having them both here. Winding down now for Connecticut, and they will just hold on to the ball as the clock winds down. 82-64. UConn now 36-0, and Rini Portland and Penn State end the season 23-12.
2 halves of basketball, and as Nell Fortner alluded to, at half they can wear you down, and all of that basketball skill will come to fore.
So Connecticut advances, and they will take on the winner of the Kansas State Old Dominion game, which we'll have for you on ESPN2 at 2:30 Eastern. And right now, Beth Bowens is with Gino Auriemma. Beth?
Thanks, Michelle. Well, Gino, last time we spoke, you didn't like the defensive effort in the first half. Did you like things a little bit better in the second half?
Yeah, I thought we did a better job of keeping Tanisha right out of the lane. You know, she really hurt us a lot in the first half. So we switched up a couple things, and I just thought we played much smarter, and we played a little better position defense in the second half. And all we needed was a little run, and I thought eventually that would be the difference.
You told us yesterday that if Sue Bird does her things well for you, you win. What did you like best about the things she did today?
Well, I thought she was really looking to force the issue a bunch of times. I don't even mind when she comes down and takes those quick little jump shots, because the more Sue is in that attacking kind of a mode, the better we are. You know, I thought, you know, the long layoff where you're sitting around all the time waiting, I thought the rest of our guys were pretty sluggish, but that's why she's the player of the year in the country.
All right, congratulations. Thank you, Gino.
Thanks, Beth.
Michelle?
All right, Beth Sue Bird with 24 of UConn's 82 points. UConn beats Penn State 82-64. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports and exclusive home of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. For more, log on to ESPN.com. UConn advances. We send it to Reese, Vera, and Nell in the studio. Guys?